again, Mrs. V here. Today we're going to be making something for the springtime season. We're going to be creating eggs that you can use to make an egg hunt with your friends or family. So here's what you need. You're going to need some scrap paper, some markers, a paintbrush if you have one. If not, you can use a Q-tip. And then you're going to need some other paper to use for your final project. So go grab your materials and come make some art with me. The first thing we need to do is test out the markers you have. You can make a little drawing by testing out the markers to find some that are dry. If you have dry markers saved from earlier, that's great. Next, you'll want one container for each marker. I would suggest sticking to a small amount so you don't have too many containers to worry about. You're going to uncap the marker, keep the cap for later, maybe we could turn those into something, and set them in the jar. Now, it all depends on how long you have to let your markers sit. You're not going to want to put too much water in, otherwise your paint will be very diluted. That means it won't be strong and it won't look like paint on the paper. So only put about 1/2 inch of water in your cup, just enough to cover the bottom of the marker. And you'll want to let those sit for about an hour, or you can let them sit longer depending on how much time you have. I've experimented already with some paint making. As you can see, these ones are really dark. I left these in for probably about a week, and as you can see, there's about 2 markers per color. So if you want to experiment with how much water you put in the jar, how many markers you use, and how long you set them in, you're welcome to do that. You can use new markers in this, but once you put them and turn them into paint, it won't be able to be used as a marker again. Okay, next we want to make some shapes for our scavenger hunt pieces. So because it's spring, I want to do some spring themed things. You can free draw your shapes, or you can trace them from objects. I'm going to use this wooden spoon to trace an egg shape. And imagine this little part here. Time to decorate our scavenger hunt pieces. You can use a lot of different tools. Whatever you have really works. Crayons are awesome. You can use markers just to draw on here, or you can use the paint that we made, whichever works for you. I'm going to start by drawing on my shapes with some crayons. Crayons are made of wax, which means if I add a water paint on top of them, like this one, the wax from the crayon will resist the water paint. That means it won't mix together. So you'll see both the crayon and the paint, which is pretty cool. Next, you're going to want to paint the inside of your shapes. So you can use Q-tips or a paintbrush. If you're using a paintbrush, you'll want to rinse it in water between colors. If you're using Q-tips, I would stick to 1 Q-tip per color. When you're finished, it's time to cut. You want to wait until your pieces are dry so that you don't have paint dripping everywhere. So go ahead, get your scissors and start cutting them out. I like to cut out the whole shape first, so it's one individual piece that I can hold easier. And then I'll go in and cut closer to the line. Notice my scissors are pointing forward and I'm turning the paper instead of the scissors. So I hid my scavenger hunt pieces for my husband, and he's gonna look for them now.
Where are they?
Thanks for making art with us today. Have a great day. Go do your scavenger hunt.